My father came to Pitsmoor in the 1950s when he was 17 years old. So he made that journey overseas by himself to start a new life. He did that for a number of reasons. One of those is because he was very aspirational, and he realised that by coming to the UK, his life chances could be far better than what he had in Jamaica. And secondly, what he was very keen to do was to support his parents, my grandparents. So he worked very, very hard in the steel industry in Sheffield and in Hull and in other places so that he could earn that extra income to send home to support his parents. And I say that because I think Pitsmoor is a truly, truly aspirational community. I originated from Pitsmoor, so I grew up on what the locals used to say, Catherine Street. Everyone else will say Catherine, but Catherine Street to the locals. And what was very, very important to my parents is the fact that we were part of a very intimate and supportive community, where all community members had a role to play in raising young people. So whether that was the local bobby or policeman or the neighbour, they all played a part in rearing us as young people, and that was very, very important. There are three things that I remember my father saying to myself and my siblings. One of those is that it is essential to acquire a really, really good education, because that would be the key to success. The second thing that he said to myself and my siblings is it's essential to get a passport. And I said, well, why on earth do I need a passport, Dad? Bear in mind I was very, very young. What he did say, it is important to be able to travel so that you can actually get a sense of different communities, different people, different aspirations, and different experiences, because what that will do is create greater tolerance and understanding. So I could see the significance of the passport. And the third thing that he said, it's important to have a driver's license. Oh, that's very interesting. Why do I need a driver's license? And again, he equated that with independence, the ability to travel at will and to travel to other places. The reason why I share that story is because I grew up in an aspirational family. I think Pitsmoor is aspirational. But at the same time, whereas I retain this intense loyalty to Pitsmoor, I know that further afield, the perceptions of Pitsmoor are still very, very negative. And I have an issue with that. I will always challenge perceptions because this is my backyard, as I say. And I think an event like TEDx is really, really critical in challenging some of those perceptions, because I suspect that some people are quite surprised that this event has been held here in the heart of Pitsmoor, whereas for me it was a true delight. I will say that over the years, clearly people were born in Pitsmoor and will continue to be born in Pitsmoor. There are people who end up in Pitsmoor by default. There are people who end up in Pitsmoor because they've made an active, positive choice to live in this community. And I think that is really, really essential. And I think all of those reasons, those choices actually add to this rich tapestry of life that exists. And we've heard that from some of the presentations this evening. And although I know Pitsmoor very well, I've learned more from certainly one of the presentations. And again, it just shows you how diverse and forward-thinking this community is. The young people that I work with, quite a lot of them live in Pitsmoor. And I know that some of those are quite uncomfortable about saying, well, I live in Pitsmoor, because of the stigma attached. What I say to them immediately, well, actually, I was raised in Pitsmoor, and Pitsmoor does not limit aspirations. It does not limit progress. And at the end of the day, they are in a really, really, truly amazing community. So I think the work that is taking place today and the presentations that have been delivered, for me, consolidate that even further. I think it's a seminal moment for Pitsmoor, and I know that I will leave the session this evening feeling energised and feeling validated for all of the reasons that I've said. So on that note, I'm going to hand back to Lee, who's going to introduce the next speaker. Thank you very much indeed.